I'm a bit rusty. I've tried doing this intro about 3 times. Keep messing it up. But nevertheless, let's get on with the video. Come on. I'm just going to stick with this one. I'm very sorry, guys. Bit of ring rust. Deal with it. Let's go through. But today, I'm going to be running through the under-23's game for Manchester United and Leicester. I went to the game. Here's a few clips of me being at the game, and what a fantastic little bit of a day out it was. I live quite local to the stadium where it was being played in Leigh. So I thought, what better than to go down, start the season right, and I'm going to do this as a series on this channel where I actually go to the home games of Manchester United's under-23's. If it starts to do well and you guys enjoy watching it, then we'll start going to the away ones as well. But for the meantime, it's not a full-time job yet, but we're going to stick with me just going to the home games because I love Manchester United and I've never really managed to get into the under-23 games. But I live local now and I'm looking forward to going to it. So let's get into today's video. So before we get started with the game today, I'm actually missing City versus Tottenham at the moment, so I'm going to try and shoot off as quick as I can recording this video because I do want to catch that game. So if you watch the under-23s, you'll see from the team that's up on screen, a lot of the team here are quite young, and that's something that Neil Wood, the manager, did say at the beginning of the season, that this team is going to have quite a youthful feel. And to be honest, that is expected. Like I said, you're constantly wanting to push through the youngsters. But for the under-23s, a lot of the team, I think the average age from looking about was around about like 17, 18, 19, which is to be expected. Like I said, you know, a lot of the good quality youngsters do get pushed up in their age brackets, but it is quite a youthful feel. A lot of the players from last season have either been put out on loan or just didn't make an appearance in this game. I was hoping to potentially see players like Ted and Mengi, Alanga, and Hannibal. I always forget I mess up his last name so bad. So we'll go with Hannibal. I saw a bit of these guys last year. You know, like I said, I was watching videos, but it's different in person. So I was really hoping to get to see some of these players in person. But I do know a lot of our players have had loans or gone out this season. So a lot of the team, the core team this season, is quite young. That being said, I do want to say one of the standout performances from this game was Paul McShane, the centre-half. You might be aware of him. I think he was playing for Rochdale last season, but I think he's played for Blackburn. He's played for a few different clubs in the past, Sunderland as well. He's one of those names that, you know, your football fans are aware of. And he's actually come in as a player coach this season. I believe he's around about his mid to late. I'm sorry if you're watching this, Paul. I think he's about 34, 35, so he's kind of come in as an experienced veteran, giving out the calls to some of the younger players, and my God, was he doing that. It was fantastic to see, honestly. It was like a throwback to Nemanja Vidic, some of the call-outs that he was making and stuff. Really, really good to see. But yeah, like really vocal, and that's something that you want to see in the young kind of academy teams. A lot of these players have had experience, but not at the top flight, and that's something that McShane brought into the squad, I thought, for this game. Really, really good to have him. Like I said, very vocal, throwback to yesteryear, some of the old days. But yeah, just really, really good. You see him shouting at some of these youngsters, get back in line, hold the line, and stuff like that. So especially that back line of four. I think the other three guys that were in the back line with him, Fernandes, the Dutch centre-half, Hardley, I think it is Hardley. You know, so these lads on the left-hand side, he was making sure that they were lined up with him. Just really, really good to see. Like I said, I think they're all about 18 as well. Kovar, the goalkeeper as well. Oh, fantastic. You know, he's making some real big shouts. So yeah, really, really good to see. And speaking about him, within 10 minutes, we actually conceded a penalty. Now, personally, I think the penalty was a bit of a harsh call. I think the ref was particularly harsh to United in this game. I think there were a few calls that, trying to be as unbiased as I can, I think should have been called at certain points as fouls, but he let play go on. Now, you know, that's not a bad thing, but, you know, maybe I'm being a bit biased as a United fan, but I think certain things should have maybe been called as fouls, but he let the game go on. But like I said, the penalty, I wouldn't have said it was a penalty myself at the beginning, but it got given. The number 9 for Leicester, Jacob Wakeling, I think his name might be Jake Wakeling, sorry. But yeah, the number 9, he looked fantastic all the way through the game, to be honest. A constant threat up top for Leicester. Not really heard much of him before. So this is why I kind of like coming to these games, seeing these youngsters coming through. But yeah, Jacob Wakeling, I think, stepped up for the penalty. Went to go bottom left, kind of passed it more bottom left, and Kovar, the goalkeeper, dived down, fantastic, saved it. Fans erupted, so always really good to see. That kind of give that boost of morale And then also in the first half, Kovar was making save after save. That back line was still kind of feeling itself out and getting used to the game itself. Moving up from there to the midfield, like I said, I think the midfield, there were certain times in the game where we did look a little bit uncertain in play, and like I said, I think we kind of dilly-dallied on the ball. I know that's not technical terms, but I am a fan, so you know, my punditry will get better the more we do this. But yeah, I kind of saw a lot of the players dilly-dallying on the ball, and this was one of the first games that I've ever seen Dylan Levitt in person. And I expected him to be a bit more quicker with his feet at times, but maybe it was just an off day. Maybe it wasn't like exactly his game. He was on that far left side, and I was kind of sat behind the goal for the first half. The United goal on the kind of far side, not explaining it the best, but yeah, like I said, he was one of the further away players from me in that first half. So maybe I missed a few certain kind of closer touches or, you know, balls that he sprayed with players in between my vision of him, but. Like I said, I saw him maybe give away possession on that left-hand side. I do think Fernandes, who was playing left-back as well, the Spanish left-back, good player, definitely still raw in certain places though. Some of his passes were a bit wayward, but I'm not going to knock that fully because that is a passionate player, you know, a player that's trying things, you know. A lot of people give Bruno Fernandes stick in the first team for doing stuff like that, you know, a pass that doesn't come through, but he's trying stuff. So like I said, it's good to see from a youngster. Whether he stays as a left back, I don't know. He might be a player that's a bit more comfortable further forward. But then again, like I said, the back line was so young and stuff, and McShane was doing a fantastic job of keeping everybody in line and doing the best you really can with such a young squad. And it also being the first game of the season, not going to be too negative. No, that front line, I think that front line pretty much suffered from the midfield, in my opinion. They weren't getting much service in that first half, but when they did manage to get the opportunities, Sholatire, you know, that boy, honestly, with the ball at his feet, honestly, Sholatire, his centre of gravity and how he moves and stuff. It's like watching MotoGP. Do you know, like when they're riding the bikes and they dip down on the corners and like the feet and the knees are touching the floor. He has that kind of fluid movement of a motorbike. Now that sounds a bit backwards, but yeah, he has that fluid motion where, you know, on a quick turn, you feel like his knees touching the floor and he can still push off and accelerate. Like, he's got a real good motion on the ball, and like I said, the more that develops, similar vibes to like a player like Angel Gomez, who was with us a few years back, if you are aware of him. I think he's out at Lille now. He might be out on loan from Lille, but that same kind of fluid motion, low centre of gravity. Not going to say the name of who we all think when we think low centre of gravity, good dribbler. You know, no PSG player, that's all I'm saying. I'm not going to say it. You don't think it. But yeah, that same kind of fluid motion of a good dribbler, a good player with the ball at his feet. Just really, really good to see. I think he started up top for us, but the front three were constantly interchanging. The other two players that were up top with Sholatire were Bughail. Sorry, I'm so bad at names. I'm going to learn them as the season goes on, but Bughail-Mellor, I think so you would say his name, double barrel name. And then on the other side, on the right-hand wing, was Forsen. Two good players, like I said. I think they just suffered from the ball not getting fully delivered to them. Forsen constantly trying to attack and press, and low fizzle balls through that right hand side look really, really good. Again, Bughail-Mellor, really, really good with the ball at his feet. I don't think he got enough opportunities in that first half, but once again, as that second half progressed, very, very good. Let's get into, like I said, a kind of roundup of the game. So as I mentioned, around about 10 minutes in, we did actually concede the penalty. It was basically past bottom left by Wakeling, and Kovar managed to jump down to his bottom right and save it quite easily. Crowd erupted, really, really good to see. And then, like I said, it was just constant kind of like back and forth between each teams. I would say that Leicester were the more dominant team in that first half, and it was noticeable as a fan that's what was quite worrying. They were attacking at us and stuff, but the fans were constant and trying to keep them on edge and stuff, especially when Wakeling stepped up for that penalty. You know, for the small fans that were in there in attendance, they were quite vocal, families and stuff. Really, really good to see. You know, COVID's on the decline, hopefully, and the fans can get back in the stadium, and that's what it's all about, you know, football, the fans. So really, really good to see the support. Like I said, one of the first games I've been down in a few years. But like I said, around about 30 minutes in, Wakeling gets that goal that he didn't quite get at the penalty spot. A fantastic ball delivered in by a really, really good player, Baybrook. Is it Braybrook? I think it's Braybrook. A young-looking player. I had to Google him up and stuff and check out who he was. Looked like if you're a fan and you're not aware of YouTube, it's going to sound really bad, but if you're a YouTube fan and you've seen him play, like Chris MD kind of style of player, and I know that Chris MD is not a professional, and this is probably an absolute insult to Braybrook, but a really, really good player. Like, he caught my eye because he looked so young. Like, he looked like he could take Holly's name from back in the day, a babyface assassin, because honestly, he looks so young. I had to Google him to be like, is he 15? Like, how old is this guy? Because physically, he looks quite small, and his face and stuff looks quite young as well. But I Googled him up and stuff, and he is about 17, so he was the average age of some of the players in the squad. But he was on the free kicks, he was on the corners as well. I'm just really, really good at delivering in a ball, like from that midfield, you know, spraying the balls about, did a really, really good job and stood out as one of the key players for Leicester. Him along with Wakeling, and who also stood out to me was the left winger for Leicester. Is it Maswan Hisse, I think it might be his name, number 11 I think he was wearing. He made some really good darting runs up that left wing and was a constant threat for our right back. But overall, like I said, that Braybrook, really, really good at delivering balls in, and I'm sure that, like you said, wherever he'll make it, he's a good quality player, and you can see that in a midfield, teams are crying out for a player like that. So in a few years, once he's developed his game, could be a really, really good player. But enough about the opponent, let's get back into the game, get back into United. So the first half rounded off pretty much after that goal. Like I said, the next 15 minutes kind of went as a breeze. There was a bit of a down feeling in the stadium. Fans were still cheering, but, you know, going in at half-time 1-0, you were hoping for that next goal. There was a few shots that were kind of sprayed to the left and right. Corners were coming in. You were hoping something would have been maybe pulled back to a 1-1 spot, but nothing came of it, and we went in for half-time. Something that did stand out to me was the half-time different routines. So this is something that I haven't ever really seen at a game before, but it was raining, sprinklers were on, and the United team, the 5 subs that they had on, were kind of just playing about together. The goalkeeper, the players that were all the bench players, just passing the ball about together, having a bit of free time kind of just amongst themselves. Whereas the subs for the Leicester team were in the far right corner being drilled by their coach. I took a video of it, I'll show it up on here. So they were being drilled by a coach at the half-time, whereas the United players were kind of just allowed the freedom, passing amongst themselves, spraying balls across the pitch together. Robbie Savage's son, Charlie Savage, slipped and everybody had a laugh, but, you know, we'll speak more about him when he came on later on in the game. But anyway, we move into the second half after that. So the second half kicked off, and to be honest, it was quite cagey from that first half. Teams were kind of pressing and stuff, but United, like I said, they weren't managing to just execute that final ball through and finish it off and just pull back to 1-1. And there was an opportunity. There was a good few opportunities, to be honest, in the game. Even though it felt a bit cagey, it was pretty much end to end into the second half. But really, really good to see. And around about, I think it was on like the 50th, 60th minute. I think it was 60th, to be honest. The subs were made. I've got a list of the subs that came on. So Charlie Savage came on. Bughail-Mellor on the right hand side for Zidane Iqbal, and then Charlie McNeil came on as well for Forson on that right wing. And instantly, these substitutions, they kind of made the instant change in the game. You really, really did feel it. And the momentum started to build, the progression of the play. Shane at the back shouting up to the players up top and stuff. And there was a good feeling behind it. Anyway, we were down at the Leicester end, and an opportunity came up for United. It was missed, and then on a quick press back out of nowhere, Leicester broke. Makatia, is it Makatia? Makatia, I forget his name. It was called out in the stadium. I've not got it on my list here, but I think it was Makatia. I've not really heard of him, but anyway, he broke, slotted in the ball, and it was a quick break. The team weren't ready. You kind of saw it coming, but then United were 2-0 down, and pretty much all hope was lost. You were looking around, and there was teams, there was families that were leaving at this point. They scored at the 68th minute, and I was like, you know, You don't leave at this minute, you don't leave at the 70th minute, anything can happen. So hope stayed with the team, and it was really, really good to see. As they broke on, the game progressed, and Bughail-Mellor came in with a fantastic goal scoring. I just want to do a big shout out for Bughail-Mellor. I think on the right wing, he was doing some magical play. His shirt was really long, his sleeves were like over his arms and stuff like that. Like the shirt seemed massive for him, like it wasn't his fit. But maybe that's just how he plays with a baggy shirt. He feels like he plays better with long sleeves and baggy shirt. Whenever I've played, I've preferred like as you can see by this tight thing, a tighter kit. But yeah, maybe it helps him, like I said. But really, really good on that left wing, constantly like getting to the byline and kicking the ball against the legs and getting corners. At one point, it felt like we had like 6 corners from the right hand side. Left hand side. It felt like we were just constantly getting balls delivered in, and Dylan Levitt taking them and stuff like that. It was a constant threat, and I believe that's where one of the goals came from. But yeah, Bughail-Mellor managed to get that goal, and instantly we were like, right, we're on. Pushed on again, that was at the 83rd minute, pushed on again, and then into extra time, into the 91st minute, Charlie McNeil manages to get his goal. Charlie McNeil, the legend. If you don't know Charlie McNeil, do a bit of research. United fans, Man City fans, do a bit of research on Charlie McNeil. But yeah, really, really good. Crowd erupted, back to 2-2, and it was out of nowhere. Like I said, some of the opportunities, United just started pressing at these last 10 minutes out of nowhere, and you kind of felt like it could come. But it just, like I said, one of the opportunities went wide, and the fans were like, no. And like, you know, the fans kind of accepted that it was going to end 2-1. And like I said, the fans that were leaving, I was still like, I don't know, he's United. And it's really, really good, like I said, for the ones who stayed. And 91st minute, Charlie McNeil with a fantastic goal. Fans erupt, really, really good to see. And like I said, it felt like it was out of nowhere, but you kind of knew something was on the horizon. So really, really good to see. The game ended 2-2. After that, there was 1 or 2 more opportunities that could have come from something. Kind of turned into a bit of goalmouth scrambles at times. The ref, like I said, he wasn't really letting the play go for United at times, in my opinion. Maybe I'm being a bit biased, but a really, really good first game to go down. I am a bit new to this, so maybe I've butchered some names. Maybe I've not done the best take on it, but that's been my take. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching. Please let me know if you do like it. If you are interested in more, be sure to subscribe to the channel. I'll be doing a little bit more of this content as we come into the season. I'll try and watch the games on MUFC TV as well, MUTV, as the season progresses for the away games, and try and do a bit of a verdict on them as we go as well. But yeah, really, really enjoyed the day out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comment section. I'll see you for the next one. Adios.